I had and lost in physical form my only child. His name is Arta. That's Arta.
Mm-hmm.
And that name is Avest in Persian. It means truth, talking of the
Mm-hmm.
truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I've had a spiritual practice for over 3 decades. Um, but the experience of of the experience of Arta, both of the presence of Arta and of his departure, really was the most radical form of illumination that I have yet received, shedding light on myself, my ideas of identity, my place in the world, and the why. Okay, the great why am
Mm.
I here? What is my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
What is the meaning of my life? And he took with him, he stripped the bullshit away.
Mm-hmm.
And in that space, as burnished and scorched as it was with the grief that a mother experiences from the loss of her child, but that space was so fertile now for the right seed to be planted. And that seed that was planted was truly the seed of love. All that remained was love, you know? And I sat in that love and loss. And it was about a year later, through, many days and weeks of meditations and prayers and silences and a very, very deep retreat, so to speak. A year after, around his birthday, I was very deep in meditation when he was present suddenly. And for any of our listeners who do practice meditation, you'll know that when there is that moment where you're removed enough that you're in just you're in consciousness, and you're conscious in consciousness, and then communications can take place, right? And it's not like a ghost appearing to you, it's a presence, it's a vibrational frequency. And Arta was present, and he said the words Chakra chai. And obviously this is all internal.
Yeah.
and
Mm.
and I was so proud of my son in that moment, because obviously I recognized this is such a great brand name, and I was just like, this, you're knocking this out of the park, boy, but I was like, well, what is this, and what am I receiving this for, right? And he said, this is verbatim. He said, if you wish, you are permitted to move on this, but you don't have to, because I know you're exhausted. Now, I still didn't know what this is, right? Obviously, I knew what chakras are. Obviously, I'm being Persian and, having lived a day or two on this earth, I know what a chai is. But was I supposed to open up a tea house? Was I supposed to go to a co-packer? I didn't even know what a co-packer was at the time, by the way. I thought, should I go to a factory or manufacturer and see if they can, do some, so I didn't know what it was. But what I did know, and this was absolutely 100% clear, there's no effing about, excuse my French, on this one. If I say yes, I have undertaken a, a responsibility, a mission that I must steward. Yeah.
Mm.
And I have nothing to do with it, so to speak, right? It's like he's offering me the opportunity to be in service. And I don't like that, people.
Mm.
Nobody likes that. We might pretend we like it, but
Yeah.
we don't. What we want is for us to feel good and for us to receive, and that's all fine. But as Ram Dass said, it's not service if it's not inconvenient. And God
Mm.
only knows a
Wow.
CPG startup based on consciousness and regeneration can't be any more inconvenient.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so I, being the crazy horse that I am, I said I accept.
Mm.
And when I said I accept, that's when he said, okay, here, and he showed me. I mean, when I say he showed me, I mean I saw on the screen of that space that I was in, the spiritual aspect, the abundant sort of regenerative farming aspect, the people, the coming together, the cultural elements of it. The thing was so systemic that I was absolutely overwhelmed. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? But, it was too late. I'd accepted. He'd kind of like, pokered me out of that. Like he played my hand like very, very intelligently. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. So I came out of the meditation and I fell on my face in prostration and I started begging God. I just said, please, if this wasn't, and I've said this before on other interviews, I really, because I'm very self-analytical, I said, if this wasn't just the grieving, the delusions of a grieving mother, if this really happened and you want me to do this on this scale, in this way, I beg you to bring the people I need to me because I can't do it alone.
Wow.
I cannot do it alone. And through what I can only call divine architecture, one by one, the people have been constellated and we've been building this a step at a time, all the way to this moment. Every moment has led up to this moment now.